they're like declaring a code red. We're not winning on the product, and now we're going to make the product worse with advertising.
Right. Welcome back to the Newcomer podcast. Tom here, Eric, and Madeline. We're going to talk now about OpenAI and the state of affairs in the AI race, because it's been a very chaotic seeming couple of days.
Warning, alert, danger.
There are flashing lights happening over in Mission Street. They're just running through the corridors screaming and throwing papers in the air at OpenAI because
door locks are coming down. There's smoke going through the OpenAI offices.
It looks like Alien when they're locking down for the creature in the
there are people that's like, you're in or out right now. Like the water is filling into the rooms and people's hands are pressed up against the glass. So Sam Altman recently declared a code red.
Did you order the code red? I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did.
Inside, I don't know why it's so funny to me. He sent out a memo to employees saying that they needed a code red alert on ChatGPT, that there's a lot of competitive threats and the app is not working as well as they want it to right now. And this came a couple weeks after he also kind of warned employees that there was about to be a very bad news cycle around OpenAI, as Gemini and Google in particular, was breathing down their necks, and they released a new model that was really good. And everyone now is down on OpenAI.
Tom's literal first story in Newcomer said, Gemini, Google, they're in a better place than you might think.
Tom called it.
Read the newsletter. You could have made a bunch of money.
I'd love to take more credit for it, but I was just talking to sources at Google who were like, we have a really good model here. I don't know why everyone decided that we were fucked. Like, Google literally invented key parts of the transformer technology.
Well, on the David Sachs, all the all-in guys were like, Google, the culture is going to ruin the whole thing. It didn't make any sense. And all the hedge fund guys have been super standoffish about Google. I don't understand it. Anyway, keep going. Google was the threat, obviously, and they make money either way. That's the beautiful thing with Google. They have Google Compute Cloud, and they have a search, so they can drive the costs like they do with their workspaces stuff. They can screw over everybody else by offering things that some people want to build money on.
They're a monopoly is what you're trying to say.
You're saying they own the internet.
I don't know. Has that been proven in a court of law? I can't say anything about that, but
it's like they have the full stack. And I think what's been clear in the last couple of weeks is that they're competitive at every part of it. Like Google Cloud is a major player in cloud, which we all knew. The TPUs, which people kind of all forgot about, are the only legitimate competitor to NVIDIA's chips. And now they have one of the best models. We didn't quite
capture how much TPUs were going to be a credible competitor, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, they've been working on it for a long time. You compare that to OpenAI, which is very Johnny-come-lately with all of these things. They're basically building an airplane in the sky or whatever that metaphor is, whereas Google is literally the airplane. And they certainly were slow when it came to embracing it, and had a lot of concerns ethically, which is interesting.
Even though, of course, I hope people listening to this podcast already know this fact, but attention is all you need. The seminal AI paper was written by Google employees. So they were there. They knew it. They gave it away for free. They created this whole problem themselves. And so, it was frustrating that they weren't leading from the whole time. You invented this category, but not surprising that they would figure it out and catch up.
Right. And so what I guess is more interesting to me now is the state of affairs going forward, because the idea that OpenAI is fucked is literally just OpenAI and Sam Altman assisted, but it's a creation of media. Nothing has fundamentally changed about the business. Their model maybe isn't ranking as highly on
and traffic. Also, I think there are some traffic numbers, right?
Traffic is a little down, to ChatGPT, but I will say also, Sam Altman is such a savvy media player. He knows that if he sends an email to the entire company that says code red in a memo, that's going to get leaked to a reporter.
And it's very possible OpenAI leaked it itself. A lot of these company memos, they know they're going to come out, and some of them, the companies leak. I don't have proof either way on this one, but just as a reporter, these company memos, especially in the Facebook era, were coming out so often that I think companies were definitely handing them out to reporters, because it's we're blasting them to all our employees. This is the message we want out there. And it gives the statements some sincerity that you wouldn't get if you put out a press release saying, we're we're in trouble. Like people will be like, what? But if you're like, it's to employees, it's like, well, that's what they're saying authentically inside. Then we metabolize it in the culture. They wrote this for public consumption, whether they leaked it or not, right? Code Red was for the public.
My belief is that they didn't leak it on purpose. And I think the reason I can say that confidently is that there actually weren't that many outlets that reported it with their own reporting. It's actually only been a small handful of them. So
if everybody says we have a source, then the company is like, all right, that was true. Here's the memo.
Yeah. But that said, like Sam is a smart guy who knows how the media works. And when you do send something out, you know it's going to happen. So the level of intentionality is sort of irrelevant at that point. But I think like Google also had a code red exactly 3 years ago to this time, where they were worried about the state of Google search and ChatGPT was taking off like a rocket. And here's where we are now. So, and I think Facebook in the past has, Mark has declared various code reds over different things. And I think actually over Google Plus, when that first came out, there was a lot of concern over there. So it's stupid to take from this like the beginning of the end. And I saw some people tweeting that out. It's like, when you've declared a code red, it's already over. You've already lost, your men are already dead. And it's like, we're so early in this, and I hate using that metaphor, but it literally is true. Like if you can go from like an also ran, like Google was a couple of months ago, like when I wrote that piece, like everyone thought Google was done. And here we are months later and they have the best model and everything. So it's like a lot is going to change. The thing that does sort of start to worry me about OpenAI is like, I do think they have too many plates spinning right now. I think they are literally trying to become Google at a time that Google already exists. And I don't know like where their focus is going to end up being. Like you've got the ChatGPT stuff. You've got the Stargate stuff. You've got the Johnny Ive stuff. You've got the browser stuff. Like I'm probably missing 5 or 6 other things.
They're trying to get into advertising right now. The meme is they're trying to get in ads. They're like declaring a code red where we're not winning on the product. And now we're going to make the product worse with advertising?
Right. Which, oh man, the whole advertising thing too. We had Alex Heath on while you were out, Eric. And, I like Alex a lot. He's an amazingly well-sourced reporter.
You can go read his newsletter.
Yeah, go read Sources, and his podcast is called Access. But he was, very, I thought a little too credulous on the fact that ads is going to be a big business for OpenAI. I think actually ads is going to be very difficult for them because ads rely on proof of concept and proof of success and also linking out and clicking out. And it sort of proved that this stuff does not link out very well. So why would you want?
I'm shopping for all my Christmas gifts in ChatGPT. I don't agree.
Well, anyway, this is a different discussion. I just think it's going to be complicated for them. I don't think it's a done deal. And I worry for them if I were an investor, which is increasingly everyone, basically, VCs on upwards, that like they are going to lose focus. And what they're trying to win on is like increasingly competitive. And that to me is more like the red alert than like ChatGPT is losing customers or something like that. It's just like what matters and what doesn't matter. And should we be doing everything? And I don't know, we'll get to predictions in a later episode, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two, you start seeing OpenAI dropping some of these ambitions. That something like the browser just sort of goes away. It's not that necessary. Or I don't know. I really don't have a lot of bullishness on the Johnny Ive hardware project. I think that is going to be expensive and difficult, but that's where I would be worried about them.
If you're selling TAM, you need to be able to do everything. I mean, there's some value to OpenAI and just being ready if a category appears promising that they can lean in. It's like, oh, coding is big. We'll lean into that. So you have projects sort of spinning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The piece that stuck out to me with all of this too is that each iteration of the startup boom, whether we should be looking at applications or foundation models, and how do we build out products, and how do the large labs also build out products? Every time a new model comes out, like this Gemini model, the race is totally reset. So all of the people that I think have talked about, will foundation models ever be the moat? The answer seems to be no, again, as it just keeps climbing and chasing back and forth. And every few months we get a new model that tops the leaderboard, and then OpenAI's back at the top, and then Google's back at the top. So it's not that I don't think I would count them out at all. Obviously, I think it's still too early, but it just becomes a lot trickier to see, can you be the everything company when the everything company already exists? Like, you need to figure out applications beyond ChatGPT that work, because you will not get the moat with foundation models. Like, this race seems like it's nowhere near done.
Which is why I think ads feels like cart before the horse, in that, yeah, OpenAI, ChatGPT needs more clear designed applications before just, I don't know, going into monetization. I want to say I guess my last word on this is, I do think it speaks to the power of truth that OpenAI is saying code red. I do think there's value in shaping your company's narrative and just saying, yeah, we're in a hard place, because it undercuts the media and the commentariat, and just like Twitter and regular people would all be like, oh, OpenAI is in trouble because of Gemini. But when you say, oh, it's a code red, we're in big trouble, then you lower the bar for yourself. So maybe it hurts your reputation, but instead of having to fend off like, oh, Google, are they better than you? You say, yeah, we're really needing to work hard. And so then everything you do to sort of be slightly better than a code red is now a positive again. And so I think there's a lot of value in just, communication strategy and lowering expectations for yourself so that you can much more easily step over them.
If you think entirely through narratives, then you're setting yourself up for your comeback. You're setting yourself up for like, we girded down and now everything is great. And we in the same way Google sort of did when they had their code red, and now everyone's, celebrating them. So, genius move by Sam Altman, where we applaud you, tip of the cap for your great decision to call yourself a code red.
I don't think Google's as savvy about the PR. I think they're just building and trying. I think Sam is very aware of, how the narrative is consumed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, fun to talk about this more next week or whenever when we do our predictions.
Yeah, we're going to do predictions. We're going to have superlatives. I think it's going to be a fun end of the year for the Newcomer podcast. We're trying to split up segments so that you can listen to the things you're interested in. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, we're working hard on our YouTube channel, so go subscribe on YouTube. Please like, comment. We're a small channel. I'll come in and reply to your comments if they're not too mean. So we appreciate all the support. And of course, we're at newcomer.co. We write a Substack about startups and venture capital. And if you want to be hearing about some of the stuff early, maybe you like to buy stocks, maybe you're tracking startups, maybe you're just fascinated and want an insider's take, you should subscribe to the newsletter at newcomer.co.